Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We are here to discuss a foundational topic, the architecture of wealth. Building a stable and prosperous financial future is about far more than just the numbers in a bank account. It is about constructing a solid framework based on three essential pillars: mindset, habits, and time. This presentation serves as a guide to the timeless principles of financial well-being. We will explore how the way we think, the actions we repeat daily, and the patience we exercise over the long term work together in harmony to create lasting success. Let's begin our journey into the architecture of your financial future. We are often conditioned to chase more, yet many of us find that despite our achievements, we feel as though we are simply running in place. This psychological phenomenon is known as the hedonic treadmill or hedonic adaptation. It describes the human tendency to quickly return to a relatively stable level of happiness, regardless of major positive or negative life changes. For example, as a person makes more money, their expectations and desires typically rise in tandem with their income. This shift often results in no permanent gain in happiness, as the new standard of living quickly becomes the new baseline. Ultimately, this highlights that simply earning more is not a guaranteed path to lasting well-being. We begin with Pillar 1, mindset. Success in building long-term financial stability starts with your mental approach. To truly build a solid foundation, you must master the psychology that separates fleeting, immediate wants from the creation of lasting, sustainable wealth. It is this shift in perspective that allows for disciplined decision-making and a focus on enduring prosperity. Your brain is naturally wired for immediate gratification, focusing on the now. Yet long-term wealth is fundamentally built on the concept of later. Stanford's landmark marshmallow test revealed a profound truth. The ability to delay gratification is a far stronger predictor of adult financial success than either intelligence or social background. This mental discipline centers on the crucial distinction between what you want right now and what you want most. Psychologists call our inherent preference for immediate rewards present bias. Recognizing and overcoming this bias is the first critical step in the journey toward building lasting wealth. Our financial mindsets are formed long before we receive our first paycheck. It is important to understand two key drivers of these early attitudes: the power of practice and the development of emotional profiles. Research indicates that the power of practice is a significant factor in future success. Receiving a regular allowance during childhood is causally linked to higher financial confidence and literacy in adulthood. The key element is consistency, as this type of informal education helps children form essential habits, such as long-term planning. Beyond practice, we must consider our emotional profiles. Studies show that foundational financial attitudes are established very early on. Children as young as 5 already exhibit distinct spendthrift or tightwad profiles. These early emotional predispositions are powerful because they serve as predictors for how individuals will behave with money throughout their lives. Pillar 2 focuses on the power of habits. The objective is to design and implement automated systems that transform progress into your default setting. By systematizing our behaviors, we minimize the reliance on willpower and ensure that consistent growth occurs organically as a natural result of our daily routines. The simplest rule is often the most powerful: pay yourself first. This principle is the foundation of the 10% savings rule, a guideline suggesting that you set aside 10% of your gross monthly income before any other expenses are paid. It is not meant to be a rigid law, but rather a powerful starting point for building a consistent and sustainable savings habit. If a 10% contribution feels unattainable right now, the strategy is to start smaller and build your momentum over time. You can begin with an automatic transfer of just 4% of your income into a savings account and increase that percentage as you become more comfortable. Automation is the key to this process, as it removes the need for manual decision-making and makes saving your financial default. By planting these small seeds now, you ensure your financial future has the room it needs to grow. To accelerate your savings progress, a powerful strategy is to temporarily separate your needs from your wants. An essentials-only budget serves as a short-term tactical tool designed to supercharge your momentum toward a specific financial goal. It is important to recognize that the objective here is to bring awareness to your spending and encourage intentionality, rather than to adopt a permanent Spartan lifestyle. By categorizing our expenses, we can clearly distinguish between our absolute needs, such as shelter, food, utilities, and transportation, and our wants. These non-essentials often include recurring subscriptions, entertainment, ordering takeout, and purchasing new clothing. By focusing exclusively on essentials for a set period, you can gain a clearer perspective on your financial habits and reach your savings milestones significantly faster. Pillar 3 is time. This is your most valuable, non-renewable asset, and the objective is to transform it into your greatest wealth-building ally. Unlike capital or other material goods, time cannot be replaced once it is spent. However, when coupled with a disciplined financial strategy, it becomes the primary engine for exponential growth through the power of compounding. By respecting the value of time and prioritizing a long-term horizon, you allow this finite resource to work in your favor, turning consistent effort into significant, lasting wealth. Compound interest is defined as your money earning money on money that has already earned money. Albert Einstein famously referred to this phenomenon as the eighth wonder of the world, comparing the process to a financial snowball effect. To understand how this works in practice, consider a $1,000 investment with a 7% annual return. In year 1, the investment earns $70, bringing the total balance to $1,070. Moving into year 2, you earn 7% on that full $1,070, which equals $74.90. That additional $4.90 represents the power of compounding, the start of an exponential growth curve that can grow to immense proportions over several decades. The single greatest factor in your financial success is not how much you invest, but how early you start. This chart illustrates the growth of a $200 monthly investment across 3 different scenarios between the ages of 25 and 65. The top purple line represents someone who invests consistently for 40 years. By contributing a total of $96,000, they achieve an ending portfolio of over $512,000. The most critical takeaway, however, is the comparison between the early investor and the late investor. The early investor, represented by the dashed blue line, contributes $200 a month for only 10 years, from age 25 to 35, for a total investment of $24,000. After age 35, they stop contributing entirely, but leave the money in the account to grow. The late investor, shown by the green line, waits until age 35 to start and then invests $200 every month for the next 30 years. Even though the late investor puts in $72,000, which is 3 times as much money as the early investor, they still end up with less wealth at age 65. Because the early investor started just 10 years sooner, their money had more time to compound, resulting in a final portfolio of $270,100 compared to the late investor's $242,600. This highlights the incredible power of time in wealth building. Starting early is far more impactful than trying to catch up later with larger sums. A 10-year delay can cut your potential future wealth by more than half. To illustrate this impact, consider the results of investing just $100 per month with a 7% annual return until age 65. If you start at age 25, your total wealth grows to $584,000. However, starting just 1 decade later at age 35 results in a total of only $217,000. The bottom line is that the extra $12,000 invested during that first decade yields an additional $367,000 in wealth at retirement, demonstrating the immense power of compounding interest when you begin early. The path to financial well-being is often overcomplicated, but in reality, it follows a simple and powerful formula. Lasting wealth is rarely a product of complexity or pure luck. Instead, it is the direct result of a disciplined psychological foundation, which we define as mindset. This mindset is then amplified by consistent action, or our daily habits. When we take the sum of a strong mindset and productive habits and multiply it by the unstoppable force of time, we achieve true financial well-being. This formula emphasizes that while our internal approach and external actions provide the base, it is the compounding effect of time that truly accelerates our growth and leads to flourishing results. You don't need to be an expert to begin your financial journey. You just need to start. The first step is to define your why. By articulating a specific goal, you create a clear purpose that makes the practice of delaying gratification feel worthwhile. Once you have established your motivation, automate your first 1%. Open a savings or investment account and set up an automatic transfer of just 1% of your paycheck. It is a small, manageable commitment that you can easily increase later. Next, review your subscriptions and find one non-essential recurring expense to cut this week. Then redirect those savings toward your goal. Finally, make sure you open the right account. Prioritize tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k or an IRA to maximize the power of compounding and accelerate your long-term growth. In an economic landscape defined by stubborn inflation and ongoing policy shifts, a reactive approach to finance is simply insufficient. To navigate the complexities of the current moment and build for a lifetime, we must rely on foundational principles rather than short-term reactions. A disciplined mindset, consistent habits, and a long-term perspective are not just relevant today, they are more critical than ever. These core values serve as the essential building blocks for ensuring a secure and prosperous future.